video, we're going to talk about now like the structure of your videos. So, if you recall the email I sent out, people often say they hate being on video, but I actually think it's more like they hate being on video because they don't know what to say or they don't know what to do. And so it feels like you're just winging it. So I want to give you a very simple structure to start with. I'm of the opinion that, of course, we can always be doing things better and fancier and blah, blah, blah. But then you just become overwhelmed and then think, I'm not going to do this. So let's start simple and we can gain some confidence and competence. And then you can really start adding bits in. Let's get to it. The structure, I always think about like a sandwich, because you've got the first thing, you need like a good piece of bread. Then comes all the juicy bits, the stuff that makes the sandwich yummy. So you've got like whether you're going to put pastrami or turkey or cheese or whatever, and some garnish like tomatoes and cucumber, and then all the stuff like the sauces that give it flavor, all the good juicy stuff's in the middle. And then you need something like another piece of bread. So the two pieces of bread kind of contain all the good stuff, right? Okay, and I want you to think about your videos in the same way. So part one is we are going to open up the video. You're going to start off mirroring what your audience's symptoms are. Okay, this is like a lot of marketing jargon. So what does that mean? Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to quickly give you an analogy to think about. I feel like the reason a lot of people's content, they say like it doesn't work, it's for a very simple reason. And that's because you, as this person who knows a lot about the thing that you do really well and that you're really passionate about, in a way, it's like a double-edged sword, because you have to have this depth of knowledge and this experience and this expertise. But the downside is that often when we're trying to describe things, we are describing things that are like 20 steps ahead of where our person is. So I want you to start off knowing that you know things that your ideal follower or your subscribers don't know. And if you open up your video talking about the thing that you know, but they don't know, or they don't identify with it, they don't relate to it, they're going to swipe. So I want you to start by opening your video, literally just reflecting back to your audience what it is that they are saying. What are they describing, right? So think about when you go to the doctor. He asks you what is wrong and you list your symptoms. I've got aches and pains in my body. I've got a fever. My throat is sore. You are giving him symptoms and then he tells you what's going on, and it's the same thing. I want you to open up your video by describing the symptoms that your audience is going to be talking about, right? Even if, and you've just got to like bite your tongue, even if you know why they are experiencing that, okay? Because that's going to come. So the first bit, your layer of bread, the way you open your video, is to mirror back, reflect back what it is that your person is struggling with or experiencing or wants. Then part two is the good stuff, okay? All the juicy stuff. And this is where you, as the business owner or as the person with expertise and knowledge and depth of knowledge, you are now going to deliver the gold to this person. You're going to tell them why they are experiencing that. And then we need another piece of bread so we can contain this little piece of content. And your last piece is link it. Ideally, like what I talk to my people about is like you're going to link it to like a little mini content funnel. If you don't know what that is, I can make a video about that. But basically, it's like, what do you want them to do? Okay, so in jargon, it's like your CTA, your call to action. What do you want them to do? Right. So if we look at it like this, the simple structure, and you're going to notice here, guys, on the screen, I've got two different colored hats. The blue hat is your follower, your ideal person. And the red hat is you as the person with expertise, the expert or the business owner. You've got to wear two different hats. Okay, so the first part you are going to choose, and this is like a super simple structure just to start off with. I want you to choose one very specific problem that your audience has that they are describing, that they are talking about, that they say is the problem, even if you know it's not the problem. Okay? Then part two, you're going to tell them something that they don't know about why they're having this problem. And then part three, you're going to tell them what can they do to take that next step with you so that they can solve the problem. Okay, it sounds really simple, and I hope it is. I want to make this practical for you. So let's take the email I sent out last week and see how we would put it into a video. So I would start off, and if you remember, my email title was I hate being on video. Already you can see that is one very specific problem or symptom. Okay, so I might start off my video by saying, do you hate being on video? Do you feel like the minute you press record, you stumble over your words, you freeze up, you feel like you look terrible? If this is you, in this video, I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can do to get far more comfortable with making videos. And the best part is you can start doing it as soon as today, okay? So can you see my opening is a very specific problem that my audience is describing as a problem, right? Even if I think, but it's not really being on video that's the problem, because I know it's the real problem is they just don't know what to say on video. Can you see the difference? I'm starting off by talking about what my audience is talking about. Then part 2 is the juicy bit. It's all that good stuff in the sandwich. So I might say something like, many people think I hate being on video. But actually, it's not being on video that they hate, it's that they just don't have a clear set of instructions or a structure to follow. And so, of course, it feels like you like doing a performance without a script. You're just winging it. Anyone would hate that. So I'm now going to tell them, can you see I've shared something that maybe they haven't thought about? They think it's about being on video, but I'm saying it's not about being on video. It's about the fact that you actually don't know what to do when you're on video. And then I might go on, remember, if it's like a bit of a longer form piece of content, I might go on to explain those 3 things. Like the first thing is like your technical setup. Where do you stand? How do you know where to put captions? How do you not chop off your head? The next bit is the structure. What do you say? And the next bit is like some practicing tips I can give you. So the middle part of your content is all the good juicy stuff where you now get to shine. You get to put on your experience hat, your wisdom hat, and now you get to tell them something about maybe why what they think is the problem isn't really the problem. And depending how much you want to share in that video, you would then deliver the gold. Okay. The last bit, just like I did in my email, I said, by the way, if you want to see the framework that I shared with some of my clients, just hit reply and I'll give it to you. So I'm now telling them what must they do to take a step with me to solve this problem. So again, like now, this is exactly what we're doing. I've literally just taken this email and put it into like if I was going to make a video. So if I was posting it on Instagram, I could say something like, by the way, if you want this framework, comment video below and I'll send it to you. And then depending on how I've set up this little content funnel, it might be like a traditional opt-in. There's another kind of funnel that I like to use, the DM strategy, which is more about like a diagnostic conversation, because often what people think the problem is actually not the problem. But again, that's another matter entirely. But I want you to think like, what do you want them to do now? How can they now take a step with you? So your last piece of bread that kind of contains all of this is what can they do to take another step with you? Okay. Now, I would just start with this as a practice, right? So before we start like now fleshing this out and adding complexity to the structure, practice the simple structure first. Bread, talk about what they talk about. The good stuff, tell them something they don't know. Show off your knowledge, show off your wisdom. Bread, what can they do to take a step with you? That's all I want you to practice for now. Okay, guys, but for now, please let me know, was this helpful? Do you have questions? I'm always here to help, so just reply and let me know.